Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Steinke Physical Education Center here in Kingsville, Texas, on the campus of Texas A&M University, Kingsville, where this afternoon the Javelina Sports Network presents Texas A&M-Kingsville Javelinas basketball. Another Javelina basketball doubleheader is in store today as the Javelinas will face off against the Cameron Aggies. My name is Mark and Sarah. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. We have two Javelina basketball teams on win streaks they're going to try and extend. The Javelina men have won 5 in a row, but first we will see Wade Scott's Javelinas, who have won 3 in a row and have jumped to 5-4 in the Lone Star Conference. They've improved to 8-8 overall. And they're facing a Cameron team that comes in at 6-11. They are 3-6 in the Lone Star Conference. They're trying to shake off a pair of consecutive losses today. And the Javelinas dropped MSU Texas on Thursday by 4 points. And they're trying to keep the good times going here at the Spec. This would be 4 straight conference wins if they're able to pick up this victory today. And they've moved all the way up to 6th in the Lone Star Conference. They are even with Tarleton, but Tarleton has the advantage of a head-to-head victory over the Javelinas. We'll take our first break of the afternoon. We'll be right back with just the starting lineups and the opening tip-off here from the Spec. This is Javelina Athletics. Don't go away. Starting lineups being introduced here at the Spec, and I'll give you the starters for the Cameron Aggies. At the guard spots for Coach Emma Andrews. Number 4, Megan Haig, a 5'7" freshman guard from Melbourne, Australia. Number 15, Parfit McNair, a 5'8" redshirt senior guard from Manhattan, Kansas. And number 30, Ava Batista, 5'8" junior guard from Elgin, Oklahoma. The 2 forwards in the lineup, number 21, Natalie Hallbleib, a 5'11" redshirt senior from Aurora, Colorado, and Jasmine Luster, a 5'11" sophomore from Wichita Falls, Texas. The starters for the Javelinas, the same starting 5 the Hogs have used for about the last half dozen games. At the guard spots, Danielle Metter, a junior who stands 5 feet 10 inches tall from Corpus Christi, Texas. Number 22, Brene Thompson, a 5'7" junior from Houston, Texas. And Rachel Tapps, a 5'8" junior guard from Cypress Ranch, Texas. The 2 forwards, Chloe Lane, a 5'11" senior from Kansas City, Missouri. And Brianna Solis, a 5'9" redshirt freshman from San Angelo, Texas. The Javelinas, of course, coached by Wade Scott in his 5th season at the helm of this program. The Cameron Aggies are led by Emma Andrews in her 3rd season leading this team. The Aggies with a lead in the all-time series between these two teams, 23-17. They've won 8 of the last 10 games. And that includes a season sweep last season. But the Aggies come in, as I mentioned, having lost 2 in a row. They've dropped to 3-6 in the Lone Star Conference. And this is an Aggie team that has had a lot of issues defensively this season. They're in the bottom half of the Lone Star Conference in every defensive category except for blocked shots. And in that category, they ranked 4th. For Cameron, as far as scoring defense, they rank last in the LSC. They average giving up 76.6 points per game. That's not only at the bottom of the LSC, that's 285th in the country out of 301 teams. The Javelinas coming off consecutive 70-point showings against MSU Texas and UT Permian Basin. And over the course of this streak of 5 wins in 6 games, they've reached 70 points in every victory save 1. And that was against Western New Mexico back on January 17th. We're underway. And we get a whistle, and quickly a travel is called on Parfit McNair. That will give possession to the Javelinas. Cameron right now occupying the 8th spot in the Lone Star Conference. But they are one of 3 teams with 3-6 records in the LSC, and they're in the middle of that group. Midwestern State ahead of them in the rankings as Rachel Taps misses a 3, and Texas Women's is behind them ahead quickly to Natalie Hallbleib, who lays it through. And there are the first 2 points of the day. The Javelinas, as I mentioned, they are 6th in the LSC at 5-11 and 8-8 overall. Left side, Danielle Metter can't sink the tray, rebounded by Luster. The Hogs have the same conference record as Tarleton, but Tarleton beat the Javelinas earlier this season in Stephenville, and they also have a 12-5 overall record. Heading into the lane, attempted layup, no good by Hedge. Taps ahead to Thompson. And Thompson with a pretty shot off the window for 2. And if you follow this team, you know Brene Thompson, while she's certainly not the only player who's playing well right now, really is the player to watch for the Hogs night in and night out, averaging better than 16 points per game as that foul goes against Chloe Lane. And 2 shots coming up for Parfit McNair. McNair nearly a 70% free throw shooter this season. Former basketball player for Hutchinson Community College before coming to play at Cameron. And she had come off the bench in 4 of the previous 5 games for Cameron after starting the first 12, but she's back in the starting lineup today. And off the fingertips of Thompson, out of bounds to Cameron. And Hedge brings it up. Cameron's biggest weapon on offense is their ability to shoot the 3. And that is led by Ava Batista, and right on cue, Natalie Hallbleib sinks a tray, and it's 7-2 Aggies. Here in the opening minutes, Taps for Thompson. Taps trying to keep it in bounds. We get a whistle and a foul on Hallbleib. And each team now with 1 foul as we are less than 2 minutes in. Taps feeding Chloe Lane. And Taps for Thompson. Thompson, who topped 20 points again on Thursday, can't hit that one. Batista Hallbleib. And Ava Batista. McNair for Hallbleib, and McNair gets it back. She'll try a three and hits it. Cameron has attempted 400, or at least coming into today, had attempted 459 threes, the 15th most in the nation. And they're not just throwing them up blindly. They converted the second best rate in the Lone Star Conference. And a foul on Jasmine Luster will put Renee Thompson at the free throw line.
Her first personal foul, second team foul for the Aggies. Free throw line, shooting 2 shots for the Hogs, number 22, Renee Thompson.
Thompson, a 75% free throw shooter, will shoot the second of 2. And she brings the Hogs within 6. And she has all 4 points so far for Tamuk. And another three, this one by Megan Hedge. And Cameron quickly ahead by 9 at 13-4. Hedge trying for the steal, but Taps keeps possession. Salise calling for it inside. Instead, Thompson will drive out to Lane. And Lane comes up with an answer. Tamuk back within 6. Thompson almost with the steal, couldn't keep that one in play. Cameron has hit their first 3 attempts from beyond the arc. And none of those threes have come from Ava Batiste, and she is their leading shooter in that department. She's tied for the top spot in the LSC in three-pointers made per game. Foul on the inside. 2 shots coming for Jasmine Luster. And that's 2 quick fouls on Chloe Lane. And Christina Kanya is quickly off the bench. And first 2 off the marks for Luster as Kanya comes into the game at the first sub of the afternoon. Luster, here is Luster. Luster was on both Cameron's women's basketball and volleyball teams last year. This year, sticking just to basketball, hits the second of 2. Steal on the backcourt. Now having to throw it in blindly right to Batiste. Has it blocked by Kanya. Gets it back. Draws a foul. And Cameron coming out of the gate aggressive. And it's paid off in the form of a 7-point lead that Batiste raises to 8. And a 70% free throw shooter. She improves that by hitting 2 of 2. The lead is up to 9 for the Aggies. Taps going right in, trying the floater, no good. Batiste tips the rebound out of bounds. So with a fresh shot clock, the Javelinas will inbound it. Thompson. Kanya now swings it to Taps. Javelinas have hit 2 of their first 6 shots from the floor. Taps left wide open. She'll try 3. That one's too strong. A whole host of players in for the rebound, and a jump ball is called. This will keep the possession on the Javelina side. And Reve Payne in for Rachel Taps. Just a reminder, Pack the House night is Thursday night here at the Spec when the Javelinas host A&M Commerce. Thompson into the paint, no good. Rebounded by Hallbleib. And Cameron off and running, trying to make this a double-digit lead for the first time. Hedge, the team's leading scorer. Hallbleib hits another 3. She's already got 8. Cameron ahead by 12. Javelina's average allowing opponents to shoot only 30% from 3. But so far today, Cameron's come out firing, and they've been on the mark. So Lee's underneath, can't get it, gets it right back, and not enough on her second attempt. Hedge brings it up. Into the paint, trying to shoot over. Kanya gets it up and off the window. Hedge, the freshman from Melbourne, Australia, has quickly established herself as the best offensive player on Coach Emma Andrews' roster. She has 5 points already today. Thompson draws the contact, no call, shot no good, ahead quickly to Hedge. Hall-Bly will try again, that one's off. Rebound off of Batiste and lands right in the arms of Solis. 14-point lead. Payne goes right in, the floater, nothing but net. Hedge for Batiste. Hall-Bly gets Kanya in the air. Floater off the iron, so Lees adds another rebound to her tally. So Lees averaging better than 7 rebounds per game. That's in the top 10 in the LSC. Metter for 3. And to move back within single digits, deficit cut to 9. McNair for Hedge. Cameron 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. Batiste guarded by Payne. Perfect layup. And Cameron so far in this game has hit 7 of 11. Ball knocked away and stolen by McNair. Wide open, Hedge converts. She's already halfway to her 14 points per game average. And the Aggies have been on target here early. Christina Kanya hits a 3. That's the 7th made 3 we've had in the opening 7 minutes. McNair thinking about a 3, now going to try and drive on Metter. Gets the contact, no bucket, trying to tip the rebound to herself. It comes instead to Solis. Payne will bring it ahead. She's going to head right in on Hall-Bly, has it blocked. Loose ball finds McNair. And Coach Emma Andrews wants her team to run. Hall-Bly left wide open again, and she is not missing today. 11 points for her. This is the 18th game of the season for Cameron, and Hall-Bly has been in double figures 15 times. Lead is up to 13. Kanya for Payne. Inside for Thompson. Turnaround layup goes. 6 points for Brene Thompson. Batiste. No good. Kanya feeds Payne. Thompson, who has 6 points so far, as Payne narrowly avoids a steal to Kanya. Thompson can't get that one to go. Metter underneath goes right back up for the bucket and the foul. Five points for Danielle Metter, and there's our first media timeout at the 1:33 mark in the first quarter. The Hogs trailing by 9, 28-19 our score. We'll be right back on the Javelina Sports Network. Full team is out of the huddle as Daniel Metter heads to the line for 2 free throws. Metter scored 16 points on Thursday in a 71-67 victory over MSU Texas. Shooting free throws at 82% this season. And trying to could not complete the 3-point play. Sydney Ellis handling the ball for the first time. Feeds Chelsea Heidebrecht. Heidebrecht with the turnaround jump shot. Rebounded by Kanya. Hannah Alcoyne into the game for the Javelinas. Metter left for Thompson. Kanya drives inside. Can't hit the floater. Gets it right back. We'll toss it out to Payne. Thompson driving in. Can't get the layup to go as it rolls around the rim. Now McNair wants to run, heading straight for the paint. Lost it for a second. Back to Batiste. Batiste's floater's too short. Rebounded by Payne. Thompson has that one blocked by Whitney Uten. Taps comes in for Metter. Thompson turns it over. Or I check that. They call it a basket and a foul, and a foul goes against Sydney Ellis. So another chance at a 3-point play for the Javelinas. That was the 4th team foul against Cameron. 35.7 seconds remaining on the game clock here in the first quarter. Thompson trying to bring the Hogs within 6, and she does. Batiste for Heidebrecht. Ellis. McNair working on Taps. Heidebrecht for Ellis. Back out. Wide open is McNair. That one's no good. The rebound off the iron, though, finds Ellis. Shot clock turned off. But it'll be Javelina basketball, lost out of bounds with 3.3 to play in the quarter. Ball to Taps, dribbling past half court. Gets it off at the buzzer, no good. So at the end of one quarter, the Hogs, who trailed by as many as 14, have whittled it down to 6. Take a quick break, be right back. This is Temuque Women's Basketball. Six-point game with 3 quarters left. 28-22 lead for Cameron. And the Aggies hitting 9 of their first 18, hitting 9 of 18 in the first quarter, including 5 3-pointers. And living up to their reputation as one of the most 3-point happy teams in the nation. And with 5 of 8 going down to help them build what was a 14-point lead that the Javelinas managed to get down to 6. Temuque with a 10-3 run to close that quarter. Natalie Hallbly leading all players with 11 points so far. Megan Hedge with 7 for the Javelinas. Renee Thompson already has 9, fresh off a 22-point game on Thursday. Hedge can hit the 3, rebounded by Thompson in the middle of a whole bunch of black jerseys. And if that's on Jasmine Luster, that is her second foul. I thought the referee said 23. It must have been 33, Whitney Uten. And the referee confirms it is 33. That's Uten's first foul. And so now Kanya in for taps. Kanya, who came in the first quarter once Chloe Lane picked up 2 early fouls, has stayed in the game. Pass to Reve Payne. Thompson working on Batiste. And they get a blocking foul, I believe, before the shot. Or are they going to give her the continuation? They call it a blocking foul against Batiste. That's 1 on her. Or check that. That's actually 2 on Batiste. And already 2 quick fouls on Cameron. And they did not count the basket as evidenced by the inbound play. Kanya for Reve Payne, the sophomore from Pearland, Texas. Taps for Payne. She'll try a 3. Went a little too long. Alcoyne fighting for the board. Instead it comes to the Aggies, and Hedge will race into the front court. Megan Hedge is 9th in the conference in points per game. Ball flipped into the corner for Ellis. Ellis that's wide open for a long 2. Can't use the glass. Kanya ahead to Payne. Thompson looking to get into double figures. Can't draw the foul. Shot no good. Hedge once again ahead quickly. Racing past Payne. Drive attempt thwarted by Taps. Out to Hallbleib. Hallbleib left wide open again. That one finds the iron instead of the twine. Out of bounds. Both teams signaling possession our way. It goes to the blue and gold. Metter in for Thompson. And a rest for Ellis as Parfit McNair comes back into the game at the 8:38 mark. Javelina is 8 for 24 so far. A steal by McNair, heading in uncontested for 2. 7 points for her, lead up to 8. Heading right in his Taps. Layup just wouldn't roll, wouldn't cooperate for her. McNair, Hedge for 3. Hedge now with 10 points, and 2 players were counting in double figures. We've barely played 12 minutes. And mentioned the issues that Cameron has had on defense this season. They keep scoring like this, then that won't matter. Metter for Taps. Metter gets it back. Payne in the corner will try and answer. Off the front of the rim to Uten. Hallbleib ahead. McNair inside. And a layup for McKenna Spikes. Cameron's lead is up to 13 now. And they've opened this quarter with 7 straight points. Payne thought about fetting Alcoyne, but instead back up top to Metter. Payne. Metter for 3. No good, and Cameron content to let it roll out of bounds. Tamook 3 of 10 to start this game from beyond the arc as Bridget Upton comes into the game for Alcoyne. And Brianna Solis also back in, as Reve Payne will take a breather. Upton guarding McNair. Into the corner, Hedge. Now a jumper from Uten, no good. The only person there for the rebound, though, was Hedge. Ball loose on the floor. Cameron wants a timeout, but instead it's a jump ball. Possession arrow favoring the blue and gold.
Turnover 4, steal 4.
6:44 to play in this quarter. And Emma Andrews contending that Tamook had the last jump ball. She's correct that Tamook had the jump ball, but I believe the inbounds in between quarters would have offset that. And so possession error does favor the Javelinas. So Andrews was correct that Temuco had the last jump ball, but with the possession error favoring Cameron in between quarters, they got the ball to start the second. So the Javelinas have it now. Taps Upton. Upton almost traveled, looking for an option, finds Kanya in the corner. Kanya, one of the two seniors on this team. Metter guarded by Uten. Across the taps, 3 to shoot. Puts up the 3, that's way off the mark. Air ball lands in the arms of Uten. And now Hedge will run the offense. Hedge, has to be one of the leading contenders for Freshman of the Year. Can hit the 3. Uten's there for the rebound, asking for it inside with Spikes. Instead, back out to Hedge. Also in the top 10 in the conference in assists. McNair. Oh, wide open for the jumper. Uten. No good. Upton. Deep corner for Kanya will try the 3. No good. So Lee's trying to tip it. Rebound then gets tipped out by Cameron, and the only people there to receive it were the Javelinas. Kanya for Upton. Metter halfway through the shot clock. Metter with a wild layup and a rebounded by Holbleib. Cameron looking to add to a 13-point lead. A little bit of a scoring drought here in the last few minutes. And it continues as the pass off the mark to Uten. We've had about 2.5 minutes since our last score. And Tamu's leading scorer, Brene Thompson, back into the game for Kanya. Javelinas have not led at any point in time so far in the first 15 minutes. Cameron's been up by as many as 15. Taps for Thompson. Inside and a travel. And Jasmine Luster comes back into the game. And we'll have a media timeout first. 4:56 to go before halftime. 35-22 the score. Cameron ahead of Temuco. We'll be right back. Cameron ahead by 13 with under 5 minutes to go before we hit halftime here at the Spec. Again, the first of 2 games between the Javelinas and the Aggies today. The women play first. The men will play about half an hour after this game finishes, which should be around 4 o'clock. And again, fans, don't forget, Thursday night here at the Spec, the Hogs take on Texas A&M Commerce. That is packed the house night, so be sure to come out and support the Javelinas as they play one of the top teams in the LSC and the number 25 team in the country. The Javelinas going for their 3rd upset of a ranked team this season, as they've also beaten St. Edwards, who's now number 2 in the country, and West Texas, who was ranked 8th at the time. They're now 16th. Holbleib, who has 11 points. Luster to McNair. Halfway through the shot clock. Cameron looking to get what would be their biggest lead of the day. Bridget Upton is called for the foul. That's the first foul of this quarter for the Havs. Up top for McNair. Going to work on Upton. Layup not strong enough, and Upton's there to collect the rebound. Quickly guarded by Holbleib. Upton heading right in for the bucket and the foul. And the former George Washington High School standout will go to the free throw line to try and complete a three-point play.
Basket counts at the free throw line. Upton shooting one shot.
Freshman from George, West Texas, former high school volleyball player, completes the three-point play. Javelina's within 11. Into the game is Leah Smith, replacing Jasmine Luster, as that was Luster's second foul. McNair to Smith. Hedge. And McNair left open. That one's too long, but in perfect position was Uten. McNair on the fresh shot clock. Inside for a Holblum, has it stripped, gets it back. Shot goes straight up in the air and eventually is tipped to Metter. 3-on-2 for Tamuk. Metter, instead of taking on McNair, will wait for support. Upton taps. So Lee's left open for a moment, now trying to lay it up and in, and can't get the shot to fall. Hedge back in the opposite direction. McNair, who has 7 points, trying to become the third Aggie in double figures, can't get the layup to go. Thompson almost lost it. Now the ball comes loose and finds Upton. And Upton gives it up for taps. Shot no good. She does draw the foul. And 2 shots coming up for Rachel Taps. And Ava Batiste getting ready to come back in for the Aggies. Taps at 56%. She's greatly improved her free throw shooting as the season has gone on.
Yeah.
First one no good. And that all started with her game against WT when she hit 9 of 12 from the free throw line. Batiste in for McNair. Taps had 9 on Thursday. And 7 of them came from the charity stripe. Looking to get Tamuk within 9. She does. And that's point number 1 today for her. Hall Blob gets a pick. Hedge. Uden to Hall Blob. Back out Hedge for 3. Metter with the board. And then draws the foul on Hedge. Much to the relief of Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Information, John Montoya. That's the 5th team foul against Cameron, so 2 shots coming up for Metter, who's an 82% free throw shooter. And Metter, cool as a cucumber, sinks the first one. Junior, who said double figures in 5 of her last 6 games, has 2 free throws to her credit. That's 7 points. And Natalie Hallbleib is down. And quickly back on her feet, limping to the bench. That will bring Jasmine Luster back into the game. And you hope that the sophomore from, or check that the senior from Aurora, Colorado is okay. Hallbleib, who averages better than 13 points per game, is in the top 10 in the conference in rebounding. Hope to see her back in this contest at some point as Ava Batiste on the perimeter. Inside to Smith. Leah Smith over Brianna Solis for a bucket and a foul. And Leah Smith is on the score sheet for the first time today, after Tamuk cuts the deficit to 7. Cameron can push it right back up to double figures. The Aggies 5 of 7 from the charity stripe. The Hans 7 of 9 so far today. Heading in is Taps, the floater off the mark. Smith to Hedge. Ahead to Uten. Wide open is Luster, but that shot's closed out quickly. Hedge wants it. Uten working on Thompson inside instead of pick is set by Uten. Smith trying to shoot over. Solis no good. Right there for the rebound was Luster, but that shot's blocked by Upton. And the Aggies will inbound it with 29 to shoot. Batiste left open. And that one, I think, found every part of the rim but didn't go through the twine. Tamuk with the rebound, taps. Will bring it back out. Upton left open. She'll try a three. That one off the mark, and Cameron will inbound it. 1:48 to go before we hit halftime. The Aggies ahead by 9. They've led by as many as 14. Hedge, Batiste left open. Driving right in. Floater can't go. Thompson picks it up for the blue and gold. Thompson leading the Javelinas with 9 points. 90 seconds to play. Metter with the wild shot, wouldn't go. Back out for Thompson. Thompson charges in and gets the bucket. She's got 11. Hogs within 7. Hedge content to slow it down. Smith shooting over Solis. Shot too strong. Gets it back. And a jump ball. This time the ball belongs to Cameron. Kanya comes in for Upton.
Your attention, please. Please ensure that the lights are off of your phone, your flash, or anything when you shoot video or take pictures. Thank you.
Hedge to toss it in. Throws it out to no one in particular, but they're going to get Danielle Metter for a foul. Now, Tamuk has fouls to give. That's only their 3rd foul. And for Metter, that's 2 on her. I believe it was on Metter. No, I was wrong. It was on Rachel Taps. And that is 2 on Taps. And now a quick discussion among the officials, as Taps was subbed out for Reve Payne in the interim. Hedge underneath for Smith, has it blocked, but a foul. And this one goes against Christina Kanya. That's 1 on her, and that's the final foul that Tamuk has to give in this half with 1:05 to play. And a shooting foul puts Smith at the line. Smith, 42% free throw shooter, 19 of 46 from the line coming into today, but she hits that one, makes it look easy. And Parfit McNair will sub in just a moment. Smith 1 of 2. 8-point game with a minute to play. Thompson for Kanya. Gets her defender in the air. Now feeds Thompson. Thompson over Uten, way too strong. Smith for Hedge, already with 10 points and a pair of assists. Batiste, Hedge. Left open is Uten, no good. Rebound grabbed by Metter. Payne ahead. Shot clock is still on. Kanya for 3, no good. Rebound just a little too long for Thompson. Hedge with the shot clock turned off will slowly bring it up. Cameron wants to increase his lead to 10 before the half and make it the last possession. And as the clock hits 10, Hedge now starting to evaluate her options. A couple of picks. And we get a whistle, and with that foul against Brene Thompson, that will put Cameron at the line for 2 free throws. And that's where those 2 fouls in the last possession really hurt the Javelinas. They could have given up that foul and had it not matter. But 2 fouls in quick succession meant that this one counts for 2 free throws. And here's Hedge, an 85% free throw shooter. How about that? So Smith hits her first one, makes it look easy, and Hedge hits him 85%, misses the first one. Smith now goes out and is subbed for McNair with 6.5 to play. And second one is good for Megan Hedge. Payne ahead quickly in the front court. Three at the buzzer, no good. So at least the putback doesn't go. So we go to the half. And Cameron has led almost the entire way for 19 minutes and 14 seconds out of the first 20 minutes. The teams go to the locker room. 9-point difference between the Hogs and the Aggies. Cameron ahead 39-30. We'll be right back with all the halftime stats. We'll look around the LSC as well as plenty of other teams in the Lone Star Conference in action. This is Javelina women's basketball. Don't go away. Back here at halftime at the Spec, 39-30 is our score. The Cameron Aggies leading the Javelinas. Mentioned after the first quarter how well Cameron had shot the ball. In the second quarter, neither team shot the ball well at all. Cameron 4 of 21, the Javelinas 2 of 18. That, in case you can't do the math in your head, that's under 20% for both teams. They also combined to hit just 1 of 16 attempts from 3. Cameron with the only triple in the second quarter. Overall so far in this one, Cameron shooting at 33%, the Hogs at 24.4%. From three-point range, Cameron is 6-16. Tamuk is 3 of 15. Cameron with 2 more free throws, 11-7, but each team has hit 7 free throws. I should say 11-9, my mistake. In rebounds, about even, 30-29. Tamuk with 1 more offensive rebound, but Cameron overall leads in that category by 1. A pretty clean game, just 9 total turnovers, 5 for the Javelinas and 4 for Cameron. Cameron, however, has turned the 5 turnovers they forced into 9 points. And for the Javelinas, forcing turnovers is something that they really excel at and they rely on to try and supplement their offense. They lead the LSC in turnovers forced, only getting 4 so far in this one. They're going to need to try and add to that total in the second half in order to mount a comeback against this Aggie team. The leading scorers so far in this one, both Megan Hedge and Natalie Hall-Blybe have 11. For the Javelinas, Brene Thompson also with 11 points. Thompson on 4 of 12 shooting so far in this game. Hedge and Hallbleib are both 4 of 8. Hallbleib with a trio of three-pointers. Hedge is hit 2 shots from beyond the arc. Parfit McNair already with 5 assists for the Aggies. And that total leads all players. For McNair, her season high in assists is 6, so she's just a couple away from surpassing that. She hit that total twice, or she has hit that total twice this season. For the Javelinas, other than Thompson, you have Metter, who has 7 points and also 7 rebounds to go with that. That's a game high in rebounding for Danielle Metter, who already has a couple double-doubles to her credit so far this season. Other than that, no one has hit more than 1 shot from the floor. Lane, Upton, Kanya, and Payne all have 1 bucket to their credit. Lane played just 3 minutes in that first after picking up 2 early fouls. And Christina Kanya saw the floor largely in lieu of Chloe Lane. And Kanya now in 7 straight games has seen at least 10 minutes of floor time for Wade Scott and the Javelinas. Cameron, as I mentioned, has Hedge and Hallbleib at 11. Parfit McNair has 7 to go with those 5 assists. She also has 3 steals and a couple of rebounds. And again, I mentioned in pregame how much Cameron likes to shoot the 3, and Ava Batiste is really their leading 3-point shooter. She's tied for the top spot in the conference in 3-point shots made per game. She doesn't even have a 3-pointer in this game. It's Hedge, Hallbleib, and McNair who have contributed the 6 trays that have helped Cameron build this 9-point lead. And they led by as many as 14, and the Hogs spent a large portion of the first quarter whittling that deficit away. They went on a 10-3 run to close the quarter to get within 6. Cameron was able to stretch it back up to double figures following a 3 by Hedge that made the score 33-22. Cameron led by as many as 13 in the second quarter. And the Javelinas managed to get as close as 7 points before Cameron scored the final 2 points of the quarter. That put us at this score we're at right now at 39-30. Cameron leading Temuco as we are at halftime at the Spec. We'll take one more break. We'll come back and go around the Lone Star Conference. 4 other games going on right now. We'll give you the scores from around the LSC. Right after we come back, this is Javelina Women's Basketball. Back at the Spec at halftime of the first half of today's doubleheader. Temuco trailing the Cameron Aggies by a score of 39-30. I'll give you the look at the scores around the LSC as there are 4 other games going on, and 3 of them are at halftime. No, check that all 4 are actually at halftime. The first game in Canyon, Texas, TW with a lead over West Texas A&M, 35-34. That would be a major upset if TW can find a way to squeak out that win. The Pioneers are 3-6 in the LSC. They are currently 9th, whereas WT sitting in 3rd place at 7-2. This is the same West Texas team that was undefeated until they came here to the Steinke Physical Education Center, and the Hogs sprung a 2-point upset on them. In Commerce, the Lions all over the UT Permian Basin Falcons, 52-32 at the end of 1.5 of play. Commerce shooting 60% through 1/2, including 7 of 10 from 3, on their way to a 30-point halftime lead over the only winless team remaining in conference play. Western New Mexico trailing in Stephenville by 10 in a low-scoring affair, 26-16. Both teams, another team shooting above 30% in that game. And the leading scorer is Destiny Wingfield for Charlton. She has 7 points. And MSU Texas trailing at Angelo State 30-25 at the end of 20 minutes there. MSU being held to just 22.9% shooting from the field in that one. And those are the other 4 games going on around the LSC today. And one quick reminder, fans, don't forget, Thursday night here at the Spec, pack the house night, when Wade Scott and Johnny Estelle's Javelinas will face off with the A&M Commerce Lions. First game at 5:30, second game starting around 7:30, and we'll be here to bring you all the action. Be sure to come out and support the Javelina teams as they take on their biggest rival here in the LSC, the A&M Commerce Lions, on Pack the House night here at the Spec. And we'll take one more quick break, be right back. Second half action here in Kingsville. When we return, this is the Javelina Sports Network. Both teams back on the floor to start the second half. Both teams are going with the same 5. Metter, Lane, Thompson, Tapson, Solis for Tamook. Hedge, McNair, Hallbleib, Luster, and Batiste for the Cameron Aggies, who lead this one by 9 points at 39-30. 1/2 of play remaining. Javelina's looking for their 4th straight win. Cameron trying to break a 2-game skid and bring their conference record 1 win closer to 500, as they're currently at 4-6. Moose trying to avoid falling back to 500 at 5-5. They want to get to 6-4 because they have a gauntlet to run coming up in this schedule, facing off against basically the three of the teams that are ahead of them in the LSC after tonight, Commerce, Tarleton, and Angelo. And then after games against TW and Eastern New Mexico, they'll be visiting West Texas. But 3 tough games ahead. Temuque trying to get one more victory in their column before they go up against the class of the conference. McNair running over Metter, and an offensive foul called. And that's number 1 on McNair, and it takes 9 seconds for Cameron to pick up their first foul of the quarter. Taps into the front court. Metter. Chloe Lane back in after only a cameo appearance in the first half. So Lee's trying to shoot that one over Luster, out of bounds to Temuque. To Thompson at the free throw line, goes right in for an easy 2. 13 for Brene Thompson. We've got a 7-point game. Left wide open, but missing the 3 was Holblad. And Taps will bring it to the front court. Metter for Thompson, asking for it inside of Solis. Instead, Taps. Taps almost traveled, driving on Batiste for the layup. Taps' first bucket from the floor. We've got a 5-point game. Head's trying to add to her team-high 11 points. Batiste. Stolen by Taps. Trying to make this a one-possession game for the first time since the first quarter, and she does. And Temuque with 6 points right out of the gate here to begin the third quarter. And quickly 2 subs head of the scores to make that 3 subs for Cameron. Trying to answer, no good from McNair. Chance to tie or make it a 1-point game for Temuque. Thompson. For Lane. Metter. It's a pick by Lane, heads into the paint. Shot no good. Metter gets it right back, and instead of going right back up, tosses it out to Lane, who ties it. 6 for Lane, a 9-0 run, and we're even with 2 minutes gone here in the third quarter. The second time we've had a tie game. Holblad driving on Taps and travels. And 4 subs come in for Cameron. Ellis, Uten, Spikes, and Smith. The only player staying on the floor is Parfit McNair. Ahead front court for Thompson. Temuque looking for its first lead of the day. Lane. Lane gets it back. Metter. 20 seconds to shoot. Thompson will just leisurely evaluate her options. Rachel Taps. Inside, tries to draw the foul. Ball loose on the floor, snatched up by Ellis. Now it's loose and comes to Thompson. For Lane. Lane will try for the lead and connects. A long 2 for Chloe Lane. 6 quick points for her. She's got 8. Temuque, an 11-0 run to start the half. Ahead by 2. McNair trying to find an answer for the Aggies. In the corner for Ellis. Uten for McNair. She's not afraid to shoot a contested 3. Instead in for Smith. Out for Ellis. Ellis gets Cameron the lead back. Thompson wants to go inside and now out for Taps. Lane open again. She is feeling it. 11 for Chloe Lane. You think Wade Scott's glad to have her back on the court after just 3 minutes played in the first half? She's already up to 11. Inside for Smith, and Smith will tie it up. Taps going to head right in and draw a foul on McKenna Spikes. That's 1 on her. Cameron's second foul. Temuque still without a foul at the 6:19 mark. And here is Taps trying to add to her total of 5 points. Has 4 assists to her credit as well. Taps looking to make it 2-2, give her team a 2-point lead. Those 4 assists she has matches a season high, she said, against TW back on January 5th. Taps hits them both. 7 points for her. Smith inside, trying to work in the low post, and adds 2 more to her total. 7 points for the sophomore, or check that, for the senior from Fort Lauderdale. Thompson on Uten, now left wide open is Lane, goes right past the defender for the floater. That one's not strong enough. Lands in the arms of Smith. Ahead to Ellis. Uten, back to Ellis, back to Uten. Hodges daring her to shoot a 3, tipped out of bounds by Brianna Solis.
What number is the last basket for them? Done. I got it. Yeah. 25.
Parfit and McNair with 8 to shoot. Heading inside, out to Ellis. Ellis off the mark. Metter wants to run. For Lane. Lane will try again. That one would not go. McNair with this game tied at 46. Has it stripped by Taps. Tamuk wants a timeout, but I believe the initial signal was jump ball. It is. The Javelinas will get possession anyway, but I think Wade Scott wanted a timeout to save that possession arrow. Lane for Metter. And now Taps into the front court, guarded closely by McNair. Metter. Taps gets it back. Metter, that one's no good. Rebounded by Smith. Cameron had just 4 turnovers at halftime. They've turned it over 5 times in 5 minutes here to start the third quarter. Layup gives the Aggies the lead back. Another one for Smith, gives her 9. Taps for Thompson. Emma Andrews imploring her players to get a stop. Taps for Lane. Metter for Thompson. Over Smith. Swishes that one. 15 for Brene Thompson. McNair heads in, finds Smith. Cameron wanted a foul, and now Solis rips it away, but a jump ball is called. And that will give the possession arrow to the Aggies as we hit our media timeout. 4:04 to play in a tie game, 48 all. Be right back on the Javelina Sports Network. Another excellent day at the office from Brene Thompson, who has a game-high 15. Just a quick note, both Hedge and Hallbleib, who entered halftime tied for a game-high with 11 points. Neither one has scored in the first nearly 6 minutes of the second half. And you look back at Brene Thompson's numbers last season, and she had some flourishes, some games where she put up some impressive numbers. She had 25 in a game against A&M Commerce. She ended the year with a 17-point night against Eastern New Mexico. But now with her scoring 15, she has been in double figures 7 straight games. And in 10 of her last 11. And with the 5-second violation by McNair, turns it back over to Tamuk. And as I said before, leading the LSC in points per game, and that average, which was coming into today, 16.3, is not going to go down today. She has really established herself as one of the best scorers in this conference, one of the most consistent scorers as well. This is no flash in the pan. And the great news for Javelina fans, she's only a junior. You get one more year of Brene Thompson in blue and gold. Lane for Metter. Tamook trying to break this tie. Thompson out of the corner, swishes a three. 18 for Brene Thompson. That's her first tray of the night. And the Javelinas lead by 3. That's their largest lead of the game. Out of bounds to Cameron. And the Aggies, who have led by as many as 14, have seen that lead just dissolve. And now you've got an even basketball game, you would think, over the next 13 and a half minutes. Hervé Payne comes in for Rachel Taps. And the officials just sorting out something real quick at the scorer's table. And we're back ready to go. 51-48 is our score. In the third quarter, Tamook shooting 8 of 13. They're 3 of 5 on threes. Leah Smith adds 2 more. 11 points for her. Lane, Metter, wide open. Alcoyne takes advantage. Hannah Alcoyne makes it a 4-point Javelina lead. Parfit McNair to Leah Smith. Out and pass inside, off the hands of Spikes to Chloe Lane. Metter for Hervé Payne. Both teams shooting better than 50% from the floor here in the third quarter. Payne. Shot clock at 10. Out to Metter. Lane. 5 to shoot. Alcoyne. Thompson just gets it off. That one no good. Rebounded by Smith, and a foul called on Metter. Metter a little bit too ambitious in trying to put the pressure on Leah Smith. That is the first team foul against Tamook here in this quarter. It's also the first on Metter, who is subbed out for Christina Kanya. So for Cameron, McNair, Hedge, Luster, Smith, and Hallbly are the 5 on the floor for Emma Andrews right now. Luster trying to go right inside. Instead, Smith from the free throw line. Great box out by Alcoyne. Clear the lane for Hervé Payne. Payne to Kanya. Payne, and now for Chloe Lane. Thompson turns around, can't hit the jumper. Cameron trying to cut into a 4-point deficit. Hallbly, no good. Smith right in for the rebound. She's doing a great job inside. Gets the foul, and we'll go to the free throw line. That's the second against Tamook. That's also one against Alcoyne. 2 shots for Smith. Smith, an all LSC honorable mention selection last season. Transferred to Cameron from Lamar University after 51 games there. This is her 4th game with 10-plus points this season. And her first one since December 8th against Lubbock Christian. Misses them both. Empty possession for Cameron. Chloe Lane to the front court for Christina Kanya. Hervé Payne for Alcoyne. Tipped out of bounds by Luster, who recovered just in time. A split second late, and that's an open layup for Alcoyne. Kings are looking to stretch this lead to as large as it's been. Poor inbounds pass right to Hallbly. Now Hedge looking for her first points of the second half. Hallbly. Kanya trying to wrestle it away. Forces the jump ball to get possession back to the Javelinas. And ever since Cameron's excellent first quarter, where they shot 50% and were 5 of 8 from 3 and only turned the ball over twice, this Javelina defense has really clamped down. Shooting percentage has dipped all the way to 36. From 3, they're just 7 of 21. They've hit just 2 trays since that first quarter. Payne to Kanya. Kanya goes inside, off the iron, tips the rebound out, though, to Reve Payne. Payne inside. That one just goes basically right over the basket. Hall Blythe to McNair. Still a 4-point game. Our last basket came at the 3:10 mark. That was a 3 by Alcoin. And Kanya called for the foul, but we're 39.4. Jamuk had fouls to give. The only bad news is that Cameron can run this down to under 10 seconds on the third quarter game clock if they wish. Smith. Hedge. Puts a move on Payne. Layup too strong. A blocking foul, however, called. And that will put her at the free throw line. That's Kanya's second. Now 4 on Tamuk, and here is Hedge. Hedge, 85%, hits the first one. The interesting part, she's only the second best free throw shooter on this team. Luster shoots him at 88%. And Smith gets subbed out. Hedge is 2 of 2, up to 13 on the day. Difference between shot clock and game clock, about 3 seconds. And Payne content to wait. Hans going to make sure they end this quarter with the lead, which would be quite an accomplishment after trailing by 14 at one point. Payne working on Hedge. Now Metter. 7 to shoot. Kanya for Payne. 3. Alcoin from inside, just a little off the mark. And good defense prevents Cameron from getting off a long distance heave. We go to the fourth quarter. It's a 2-point game. 54-52 Javelinas. We'll be right back. 10 minutes remain in regulation. This is the Javelina Sports Network. Ten minutes remaining in regulation in a 2-point basketball game. Javelina's outscoring the Aggies 24-13 in that third quarter, hitting 4 3-pointers in 6 attempts. And also forcing 8 turnovers while giving the ball away just 1 time. Cameron, again, just since that first quarter, just 2 of 13 from 3. Both teams are 7 of 21. Cameron with a slight edge in rebounds, 40-36. Cameron has shot 4 more free throws, but each team has made 9. And to move for this game, just 6 turnovers. McNair, Batiste. Hall Blythe feeding Hedge, excuse me. Long 2, in and out from Luster. Payne quickly ahead. Metter out to Chloe Lane, left wide open, no good. Alcoin for the rebound, wants to go right back up, gets knocked down. No shooting foul, but that will allow the Javelinas to restart this possession again. 2 against McNair. Hawks have not led by more than 4. Metter for Payne, who drops it out of bounds. Hedge to Luster, trying to tie up this basketball game. Hedge on Payne, up and under, and travels to turn it over. Javelina is looking for their first points since Hannah Alcoin's 3 at the 3:10 mark of the third quarter. It's Metter for Chloe Lane to Payne. Inside for Kanya, stolen by Luster. McNair into the front court. Maybe one pass too many. Batiste. Shot no good, but a foul is called on Alcoin. Second foul of the quarter against the Javelinas. So Lees, Taps, and Thompson get ready to enter the game as Batiste tries 2 free throws to try and even this game. Batiste hits the first one, still looking for her first 3-pointer of the night. And the 3 subs come in for Alcoin, Kanya, and Reve Payne. Batiste trying to tie this game for the 6th time. And we're all even at 54. 6 points for Ava Batiste. Taps to Metter. Metter so far in this game, 7 points, 9 rebounds. Thompson trying to add to her game high total, and she uses the window to do it. 20 points again for Brene Thompson. Her 7th time she's hit that mark. A 3 by Holbleib gives Cameron the lead back. Ahead by 1, 57-54. Taps for Thompson. Metter, contested 3, no good. Holbleib to McNair. Cameron ahead by 1. Hedge, Holbleib hits it. Timeout, Wade Scott. Natalie Holbleib has 17 points. Cameron ahead by 4 for the first time since early in the third quarter. And Wade Scott needs a timeout. We'll be right back. This is Timuc Women's Basketball. Cameron jumping in front, 60-56. And Wade Scott calling a timeout at the 7:49 mark here in the quarter. Cameron's been on a 10-2 run since the late stages of the third quarter. That's staked them to this 4-point advantage. Lane inbounding it to Metter. Hogs across half court, Taps to Danielle Metter. Rachel Taps, 7 points, 4 assists, 3 steals to her credit so far today. Thompson wants to go inside, and I believe we get a foul against the Aggies. They call that one on Megan Hedge. That's 1 on her. For Cameron, that makes 2 fouls this quarter. Thompson, Metter. Lane, corner for Taps, trying to make it a 1-point game. That one's too long. Metter takes the rebound away, goes right back up for the layup. Brilliant aware play by Danielle Metter. Now to the front court, left open was Luster. Back out for McNair, who has it taken away again by Metter. Another steal for the junior guard. Metter trying to avoid it, getting the ball stolen herself. It's tipped out, knocked out from behind by McNair, but out of bounds off of Cameron with 24 to shoot. 2 quick steals by Danielle Metter, who's a rebound and a point away from a double-double. Metter for Lane. Lane really thought about the 3 there for a minute. Instead, Thompson will take it. No good. Solis right back up. We're tied. Good time for Brianna Solis' first 2 points of the day. Hedge on taps. Pick set by Hallblad. Bucket and a foul. They get the blocking foul on Metter. Metter maybe just trying a little bit too hard after the pick came. And a perfect floater by Hedge. Three-point play. Does not complete. A Hedge gets it right back, though. Luster adds 2 more. And Cameron, just like that, back ahead by 4. Taps for Thompson. Thompson can't get the floater up high enough, draws the contact, will go to the line. And Hallblad with her second foul. 3 against Cameron. Kanya preparing to sub back in for the Javelinas. Thompson trying to bump her point total over 21. She's got it. $20 points now for Thompson in 5 of her last 7 games. She's got 22. Tamuk back within 1. 28 is Thompson's career high, in case you were wondering. Hallblad for Uten. Luster. Trying to work on Solis. Back out for Hallblad. Luster again on Solis and draws the foul. That's 1 on Solis. And Luster, who's the best free throw shooter on this team, will try 2. Each team now with 3 team fouls. Luster, 88% hits the first one. And she misses the second one right there for the rebound as Hallblad. Can't get the layup to fall. Tipping the rebound to herself is Luster. McNair in on Lane. Layup no good. Rebound tipped to Uten. And now Cameron will reset. And I guarantee you a frustrated group of Javelinas out there right now. McNair on taps, pass to Uten. Hedge drives on Kanya for 2. And Cameron's lead is 5 points. Thompson, Lane for 3. That one's too strong. McNair tips it out of bounds to the Javelinas. Luster out in favor of Leah Smith. Meta replaces Solis. Taps to Lane. Metter for Thompson, another 3. That one's no good. Fighting for the rebound inside. A foul against Christina Kanya. Or check that possession to Cameron. I think he's looking to go back up by 5. That last bucket so huge. Another offensive rebound by Uten, a bucket and a foul. And Cameron quite simply just out fighting the Javelinas inside for these rebounds. Free throw no good. This time Tamuk does get the rebound. Cameron's lead is its largest since the 9.5-minute mark of the third quarter. And now we get a foul on the inside on Parfit McNair. That's 3 on her. 4 now on Cameron. Both teams at 4. We hit a media timeout. 7-point game. The Aggies ahead 69-62. Be right back at the Spec. Don't go away. Cameron ahead 69-62 here in the fourth quarter. Last time they were up by 7 was with more than 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter. But since the Javelinas led 54-50, it's been a 19-8 stretch in favor of the Aggies. And they've also scored 9 of the game's last 11 points after we were tied at 60. After a putback by Brianna Solis. In the corner to Thompson. Lost possession, loose ball to Smith. Hedge avoids a couple steal attempts. Left for McNair. McNair almost traveled. Hedge with it. Hedge taking her time as we tick down towards 4.5 minutes. Layup is good. And Cameron has been on point with those layup attempts over the course of the last few minutes. It's helped them build this 9-point lead. Metter taps. Over Smith, too strong. Rebounded by McNair. And McNair told to slow it down by her head coach. Hedge with it left side. Hedge can't get the shot to go. Tamuk trying to eat into a 9-point deficit. They need to do it in a hurry. Lane inside adds 2 to her total. Chloe Lane has 13. Lane's 5th time reaching 10 points this season. McNair with the layup over. Kanya no good. No one, though, picks up Outen, but right there is Metter for the steal. Metter running inside, a wild attempt, but she draws the foul. And they get Holbly for number 3. Cameron is now over the limit. And no player to move would rather have at the line for these critical free throws than Danielle Metter. And she now has a double-double, 10 points, 10 boards. Second one doesn't go, though. Tamuk needed that, needed this to be a 5-point game. McNair. Still enough time for the Hogs if they can get stops. Smith, guarded by Lane. Then we get a foul on the inside. And Smith goes to the line. Wade Scott wanted a 3-second violation before that foul. Smith's free throw's no good. And looking at the replay, that was an on-point foul call. Lane did exactly what the official said. Smith misses them both. 3 minutes to go. Taps. Inside layup, no good. Kanya can't secure the rebound. And now we get a travel against Cameron. Emma Andrews was screaming for a timeout before the travel was called. But the referees never heard it. And the Javelinas get the ball back on the travel. Taps. To Lane. Thompson. And Thompson travel, just couldn't keep her mitts on the basketball. Gives it back to Cameron. 2.5 minutes to play. Cameron looking for a basket that can secure this. Lane nearly with a steal, just tipping it away from Uten. Still 22 seconds to shoot for the Aggies. McNair left wide open, and that one rattles home. Huge bucket for Cameron. Pushing their lead back to 8. Lane inside, and that was a total flop by Parfit McNair, but the referee fell for it and called a foul. There wasn't enough contact there to hurt a fly, but the call goes against Tamuk. Possession to Cameron. And Wade Scott wants a timeout. No free throws because it was an offensive foul, but the loss of a possession is just as important as free throws would be. So Tamuk with a timeout, trailing by 8 points. 2:12 to play. And if Cameron can hold on and win this game, got to give credit to the Aggies after watching that 14-point lead disappear, falling behind by a couple possessions multiple times, putting together a run to build this lead. And also a fantastic job by them. They fought for the critical rebounds that really allowed them to keep their distance between the Javelinas. They are ahead in rebounds 51-43. And they've held this lead for the last 6 minutes. Ball off the hands and out of bounds. And the Aggies turn it over. Turnover number 18. Taps to Lane, trying the open jumper. Javelinas needed that. 15 for Lane. It's a 6-point game. Hogs, no need to foul just yet. But stops obviously are a must. McNair trying to draw the foul, and she draws just enough contact to get to the free throw line. And 2 free throws for Parfit McNair. And McNair can't get the roll on the first one. And Wade Scott parroting a fellow by the name of Rasheed Wallace saying, the ball doesn't lie. McNair hits 1 of 2. 7-point game with 1:55 to go. Thompson was right inside, can't get the much-needed bucket, but she'll go to the free throw line. And both coaches unhappy with some of the officiating. Smith picks up her first foul, and 2 for Brene Thompson. And Tamuk needing both free throws. Thompson sinks the first one. 1:48 to play. Hogs trying to get within 5. And they do for the first time since it was 67-62. 24 points for Thompson, closing in on 100 seconds to play in this game. Hedge, McNair, Holbleib, who has 17, gets a pick from Smith. 15 to shoot. Cameron in no hurry on offense. 7 to shoot. Smith, Holbleib. Just gets off the layup. Smith the rebound, and there's an offensive foul. And they get Holbleib for her 4th with 1:17 to go. And the Hogs with a chance to make this a one-possession game. Every heart's beating faster at the spec right now. Taps.
15.
Taps going right in and runs over Leah Smith. And Taps maybe just a little bit too anxious there. Smith in perfect position to draw the charge. But to her credit, she made the shot, just didn't get the call. So each team drawing a huge charge. Hedge, McNair. The clock running under a minute. Haas content to try and wait out the possession and get a stop. Hedge. 5 to shoot. Shot over Metter, no good, and then out of bounds off of Cameron. 41.8. So the Hogs need a quick basket, and then they have to start fouling. And Wade Scott calls for a timeout.
On the corner of Corral and 14th near Kingsville. Corral, the proud sponsor of Javelina Athletics.
So a 5-point game with 41.8 seconds to go. Another timeout for Wade Scott. And the Javelinas have managed to cut this deficit from 9 down to 5. And now an opportunity to get within 2 or within 3. I'm really curious to see if Wade Scott's going to draw up a play to try and get his team to shoot a 3. Because to state the obvious, life becomes so much easier for the Hogs down 2 than it does down 3. Especially with this much time left. If you make a 3 and foul, even if Cameron hits 1 or 2, it's still a one-possession game. Taps draws the foul. 37.7. 2 on Leah Smith. And Taps to shoot 2. Taps 3 of 4 from the foul line this evening. 8 points for her. Taps looking for the free throw to make this a 1-point game. She hits it. We have a 3-point game. Rachel Taps has 9 points. 2 enormous free throws by the junior from Cypress Ranch. And now, after a timeout by Cameron, they'll get to bring the ball up and inbound it from right in front of where I'm sitting on the scorer's table. Now here's the conundrum. 37.7 seconds to play, and obviously a full shot clock. Do you let Cameron play this out and just and hope you play good enough defense, maybe you can get lucky and force a steal and then try and tie the game with a 3, or do you foul? Now, the smart thing by Emma Andrews is Leah Smith, who's the team's worst free throw shooter, not on the floor. And for Timbuk, it might depend on who gets it. Megan Hedge inbounded. You're not going to foul her. She's an 85% free throw shooter. Hedge just holding. We're going to wait this out. McNair on Thompson. And a blocking foul. McNair 3 of 4 from the line today for Brene Thompson, her second foul. Not that it matters very much now. And Thompson still down under the basket, getting looked at by a couple of the Javelina trainers. I think it heads with a team-high 19, one of 4 players in double figures for Cameron. Thompson with 24. Chloe Lane 15. Danielle Metter with 10 and 10 for another double-double. And as Thompson gets looked at, both teams discussing strategy in the event of one thing and in the event of another. First things first, McNair has to shoot these 2 free throws. And one of the biggest reasons the Hogs are still in this game has been Cameron's free throw shooting, just 13 of 25 so far in this game. Tamuk 16 of 19. But all those stats, just something for guys like me to talk about right now. Doesn't mean anything with McNair at the line. First a 2, and she sinks it. McNair with 10 points, her second consecutive game, reaching that plateau. She had 16 against ASU last time out. First one front to back, no good. Rebounded by the Aggies, and drawing the foul is Hoblib. And that's been the bugaboo for the Hogs here in the second half, has been offensive rebounds. And that one, a little bit of bad luck as it just bounced a little bit too far to the right for Christina Kanye to get her mitts on it. And now Hallbleib gets to add to the lead. And Hallbleib makes it a 6-point game at 21.3. Wade Scott wants a timeout. And that rebound combined with those 2 free throws might be the dagger against the Javelinas today. Unfortunately for them, not getting that rebound off of that mystery was something they just could not afford to have happen. Because even if you get the rebound, you put up a 2, all of a sudden it's a 2-point game. Things change so drastically. But credit to Hallbleib and credit to this Cameron team for doing a fantastic job on the glass today, especially here in the late stages of this contest. Now again, 40 more minutes of basketball on top after this one. The men's teams will square off. Johnny Estelle's bunch trying to keep a 5-game win streak going. Cameron comes in having won 2 in a row, so you have a pair of hot clubs here in Kingsville for a Lone Star Conference action. And now with Tamuk down by 6, I almost imagine you have to shoot a 3 here. Hogs 7 of 27 on the day. They shoot 28.7% from beyond the arc this season. Reve Payne comes back in, and Metter will inbound it. I think it would either have to be Lane or Metter. The big thing is no Brene Thompson there. Lane, a long 3, sinks it. 18 for Lane. Cameron inbounds it, is fouled immediately at 17.2. Payne commits the foul. Here's McNair for 2, and Rachel Taps imploring the crowd to get loud with Parfit McNair on the free throw line. But McNair, not even noticing the extra noise, hits the first free throw. Second at 2. That one's no good. Kanye the rebound, lost it. Ahead quickly to Taps, under 15 seconds to play. Metter. Lane got fouled. There was no call, and the rebound goes to Cameron. Lane got contacted twice on that, and there was no foul. She missed the altered shot. And 2 free throws coming, and that will be the ball game. Hallbleib landed on Lane, which made her pull back the first shot. And then the second with defenders on the other side of her ended up rimming out. I don't know how Hallbob doesn't get called for a foul there. There's clearly contact. Both free throws good. Inbounded to Taps. And the final buzzer sounds. So Cameron holds on to win by 6, 80-76. And Cameron picks up their 7th win, their 4th in conference. They go to 4-6 in the LSC. They're 7-11 overall. The Javelinas drop to 8-9. They're back to 500 in LSC play. And their next game will be on Pack the House Night on Thursday. They will host Cameron. I should check that. Commerce at 5:30 p.m. here at the Spec. Be sure to tune in. We'll have all the action here for you on JavelinaAthletics.com via YouTube Live. But most of all, come out and support Wade Scott's team on Pack the House Night on Thursday. We'll take a quick break and come right back and wrap this up on the Javelina Sports Network. Both men's teams have taken the floor, warming up for their game, which will start in less than 25 minutes. Again, the final between the Aggies and the Javelinas in the first half of today's doubleheader. Cameron's 80, the Javelinas 74. Cameron snaps a 2-game skid, and they also break Temuc's 3-game win streak with a 6-point victory. And what was a really back-and-forth game in the second half, the Hawks came back from a 14-point first-quarter deficit to take a 4-point lead in the third quarter. But Cameron had an answer in the fourth. A number of critical offensive rebounds as well as a couple of officiating decisions go the way of the Aggies, and they pull out an 80-74 victory. Another big night for Brene Thompson. Thompson finishing this game with 24 points. Hedge, 21 for Cameron, one of 4 players to top 10 points. Chloe Lane also with 18 for the Javelinas. Danielle Metter with her second double-double of the year, 10 and 10 for her. For Cameron, Parfit McNair with a big game, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. For Cameron's redshirt junior guard. Cameron also out shooting the Javelinas 40% to 32. They were 9 of 24 from 3. Temuc just 8 of 29. Cameron missed a bunch of free throws that quite honestly helped keep Temuc in the game, but the rebounding is, again, what really decided this game when he went down the stretch. 54 rebounds for the Aggies, 45 for the Javelinas. Temuc turned the ball over just 12 times, but those rebounds really killed this team late. And that's one of the biggest reasons Cameron gets to escape here with a 6-point win. Again, Wade Scott's team back in action on Thursday against A&M Commerce at 5:30 on Pack the House Night. And be sure to come out and support the Javelinas on Thursday. Again, game 2 of the doubleheader going to start in about 20 minutes. We'll take a break and be right back with game 2 tonight. This is the Javelina Sports Network.